that she was the one being criticized for not teaching her American daughter Dutch. Juliana recovered from her surprise at seeing her uncle and the indignity of being caught rubbing ice on her face, but she reminded herself that he was family. "Uncle Johannes, hello. What are you doing back here?"
"I've brought you something,"
he said in his own excellent English. Juliana winced. Now? She had 15 minutes to pull herself together for the second half of the concert. She snatched up a hand towel as her uncle withdrew a small, crumpled paper bag from inside his jacket. What was she supposed to say? The Pepperkamps mystified her, and she wondered if her idea for a family reunion had been a good one after all. She'd already had to accept the mediocre instrument, the lousy acoustics, and, although the church was sold out, the comparatively small audience. But now the Pepperkamps themselves were proving to be quite a handful. Her mother was obviously ill at ease with her older brother and sister, whom she rarely saw, and hadn't had much to say since arriving in Rotterdam the night before. And Aunt Villy was impossible. After getting off to an inauspicious start with her niece, she'd snored through most of the first half of the concert. And now this. Johannes thrust the bag at her. "Please, open it." "But She couldn't bring herself to argue. Her uncle looked so eager, even desperate. Unprepossessing as his gift seemed, it meant a great deal to him. And with the death of his wife, Anne, a few years ago, and no children of his own, Juliana guessed he was a lonely man. For the first time, she felt the weight of being the last of the Pepperkamps. She could indulge him. With the towel around her neck, she stuck her hand in the bag and pulled out a heavy object wrapped in faded purple velvet. Her uncle's water-blue eyes glittered as he urged her on. She unwrapped the velvet. In a moment, she held in her hand a large, cool rock. But her pulse had quickened, and she lifted her eyes to her old uncle, licking her lips, which had suddenly gone dry. "Uncle Johannes, Tell me this isn't a diamond." The old man shook his head solemnly.
"I can't do that, Juliana."
"But it's too big to be a diamond."
"It's what we call rough. It has never been touched by a cutter's tool."
Juliana quickly wrapped up the stone and stuck it back in the bag. For 400 years, diamonds had consumed the Pepperkamps. They'd entered the trade in the late 16th century, when Jewish diamond merchants had fled the Spanish Inquisition and arrived in more tolerant Amsterdam. The Pepperkamps were Gentiles. Why they'd taken up one of the few trades open to Jews, and dominated by them, even today, remained a mystery. But it wasn't one that interested Juliana. She considered diamonds ordinary and bland. Even ones like the Breath of Angels, which her Uncle Johannes had cut and was now in the Smithsonian, bored her. An exquisite stone, everyone said. She supposed it was, for a diamond. "I'm flattered, Uncle Johannes, deeply flattered, but this must be a valuable stone, and I just can't accept it. It would go to waste on me."
"Juliana, this is the Minstrel's rough."
"The what?" A look of anguish, but not surprise, overcame the old man.
"Then Katerina has never told you. I've often wondered."
She listened for a note of criticism of her mother in his tone, looked for it in his expression, but saw none. Perhaps he knew as well as his niece that Katerina Pepperkamp Fall rarely discussed the first 25 years of her life, the years during which she'd grown up in Amsterdam, with her daughter or anyone else. When Juliana had complained to her father about her mother's reticence, Adrian Fall had nodded sympathetically, for he too had been shut out from so much of his wife's early life. But he said that it was Katerina's past, not Juliana's or his.
"She won't approve of my telling you now, even less of my giving you to Minstrel,"
Johannes Pepperkamp.